In my eyes, there's no doubt that Chong Wei is one of the greatest players who ever walked on a badminton court. And especially his rivalry with Lin Dan is totally unmatched in our sport, and we all should be thankful that we could witness it for almost 2 decades. After my video with statistics about Lin Dan and his amazing career, I got so much positive and great feedback from you guys, and especially a lot of questions if I could do a similar thing with Chong Wei. Even though Malaysia's superstar never won the Olympic Games or the World Championships, he definitely stacked up some insane numbers. And there are a couple of statistics that will definitely blow your mind, so get ready for it. To start out, I want to take a look at the number of weeks different players managed to stay at the top of the world ranking. Due to the change of the ranking system in 2009, it is a little bit tricky to get exact numbers before that year, so we're only gonna focus on 2009 until today, so around 11 years. Here we will see that in men's singles there are only 7 players who reached the top of the world ranking in those 11 years. India's Shrikant Kidambi stayed there for exactly 1 week, followed by Lin Dan with 14 weeks and Korea's Son Won-ho with 17 weeks. With 51 weeks, so almost an entire year, we will find Viktor Axelsen. Above him, there's Chen Long from China with 76 weeks and Kento Momota with 78 and counting. The Japanese shuttler is already there for quite a while, and it will be interesting to see how much further he will get up during his career. But I can tell you that catching up with Chong Wei won't be easy for Momota. If we want to find Malaysia's top star, we have to look up until here. At the insane number of 310, so about 6 years, he was at the world number 1 during the last decade. To stay on top of everybody else, you can probably imagine that you need a lot of wins and especially a good winning percentage throughout your career. And this is the next thing I want to focus and look on, the total wins and the winning percentage of different men's single players. This stat here shows both things. So the higher you're up, the more wins you have, and the more you're at the right side, the better is your winning percentage. Around the number of 300, we can find a couple of still active players with Kento Momota, Viktor Axelsen and Chu Tianchen. Besides them, there are also a few retired players like Kenneth Jonassen from Denmark, Chen Jin from China or Adi Viranatha. Here you can also see that maybe the number of total wins from Adi Viranatha is not the most impressive one, and he is around 50 wins behind Chu Tianchen, but his winning percentage is far more impressive with more than 80%. In this stat, we will only find 3 more players with above 80%, and the next one is Paul-Erik Hoyer with 386 wins and almost 81% winning percentage. The next 3 spots in terms of total wins goes to Taufik Hidayat, Leon Il and Chen Long. If we finally jump over the mark of 500 wins, we will only find a few players left. Peter Gade with 503 wins and a 76.4 winning percentage just made it over that mark. But after him, we have to make a huge step. A step of 170 wins and almost 7% in winning percentage to be precise. With 673 wins and 83.4% winning percentage, we find Lin Dan. But Chong Wei managed it to top both of these numbers. 721 wins and even 1% more, so 84.3% in winning percentage throughout his entire career. Just to get into perspective what you need to do to get to those numbers, just play 10 tournaments a year, reach the final of every single one of them and do that over 14 years. Then you are around that area of Chong Wei here. But I can tell you Chong Wei was not only reaching finals in tournaments, he was also winning quite a few of them. So next up is the number of tournament wins, in former Super Series events or in the now equivalent World Tour events. If you look at those names here, you will realize quickly that it's not easy at all to win more than 10 tournaments on that level. Even players like Viktor Axelsen, Chu Tianchen and Shi Yuqi are below that mark. Players that got more wins are former greats, for example like Chen Hong, Peter Gade or Taufik Hidayat. A bit higher up, and once again very impressive numbers, Kento Momota with 19 tournament wins, and Chen Long even having 25 and still counting. Especially Momota got all of his wins in a very short period of time, and it seems almost certain that he will also climb the ladder here in that category. But even if Chen Long is not that far away, it will be a lot of work to catch his compatriot Lin Dan sitting at a number of 41 tournament victories. But even if he gets to that number, he still needs 10 more wins to break the record from Chong Wei with 51 titles. Another outstanding thing about Chong Wei is not only his tournament victories, but also his pure dominance against other top players. Something you can clearly see when you look at the head-to-head statistics. In this chart I want to show you the 10 best head-to-head matchups in terms of plus-minus rating from different top players. Here with Anthony Ginting, for example, we can see a +6 because here he has 6 wins and 0 losses against one opponent. Here is an opponent who he has even beaten 8 times, but also has 4 losses, so that would mean a +4. So generally you can say that dots that are far at the right side and still pretty low show a great plus-minus rating. Here you can see that most of Ginting's top 10 matchups rank around +2 or +3 in head-to-head. Shrikant Kidambi even has a +8 ranking with 11 wins and 3 losses against Wang Wingqi, but most of his best head-to-head comparisons are also around the area of +3 and +4. A little bit better, but also in a similar area, we will find Viktor Axelsen with head-to-heads ranging from +4 to +8. The first player with a 10+ or higher rating in the head-to-head is Axelsen's compatriot Peter Gade. Maybe you can already guess who are the next on the list now. Again, despite of his young age, Kento Momota was also able to stack up some impressive head-to-head matchups in his still young career. Just like his 14-1 record against Viktor Axelsen or his 11-2 record against Zhu Tianchen. The head-to-head from Chen Long is not less impressive. In each of his top 10 head-to-head comparisons, he is at least +8, and also against top players like Tommy Sugiarto, Hans-Christian Wittinghus or Janno Jørgensen. Once again, no surprise that the numbers of Lin Dan are even more impressive. Here we can see that all his best head-to-head comparisons are +10 or higher, and we are not talking about +10 against anybody. Here we will find superstars like Peter Gade, Bao Chunlai or even the last missing player Chong Wei. But although Chong Wei has not the best record against Lin Dan and has lost 27 of their 39 matchups, still his head-to-head comparison to other players is more impressive than the one of the Chinese legend. Now here we can see the best matchups from all those players I've just presented you. And remember, the further the right and the lower the better. And now we can find Chong Wei's best matchups exactly here. In total, he had 6 players that he was just dominating with 15+ or even higher throughout his career. And again, we're talking about top players like Peter Gade, Kenichi Tago or Tommy Sugiarto. And not to forget the poor Bonsak Ponsana from Thailand. To end this video, I want to look at multiple tournament wins, and you will quickly see why. Over the last few decades, only 7 men's single players managed it to win the same tournament more than 3 times. One of them, of course, is Chong Wei, who for example won the All England and the season final 4 times. Also, Peter Gade was able to pull that off at the Korea Open, as well as Chen Long at the Denmark and the China Open. There are 3 players with 5 victories at the same tournament. And Lin Dan even managed to do it at 3 different locations, also in Hong Kong, in China and at the World Championships. Paul-Eric Hoyer did it on home soil at the Denmark Open, and Chong Wei also managed to do it at the Hong Kong Open. The Indonesia Open seemed to be a good spot for multiple wins. Adi Viranatha, Taufik Hidayat and Chong Wei were all successful 6 times in Jakarta. In addition to that, Chong Wei was also successful 6 times in Japan, and not to forget the remarkable 6 victories of Lin Dan at the All England Open. But you think winning the same tournament 6 times is already crazy? Wait a minute. At the Malaysia Open, Chong Wei was just unstoppable, and in 15 years he won a total number of 12 titles. The way he performed in front of his home crowd was just extraordinary, and if you want to see a dominant player, then I can just recommend you to rewatch a few matches from Chong Wei in Malaysia. And actually his last career title, the 12th Malaysian Open title in 2018 against Kento Momota, was one of the most impressive matches I've ever seen.
Jorge says he's won his 12th Malaysian Open title.
Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to give a big shout out to Jens Christensen from Badminton Statistics, who helped me to get all these numbers and stats about Chong Wei and all the other players. And if you're interested in more numbers and statistics about badminton, definitely check out the description below. I will link the channel of Badminton Statistics there. As usual, a quick reminder in the end, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. And if you have any further ideas for videos, maybe different players, maybe different categories, just let me know it in the comments below. I would love to get back to you there, and then I hope I can welcome you for the next video.